when I was at boarding school, we for some reason, my dad, he used to send me things from the Gulf War. He was out in Iraq during the first Gulf War, and he would send me things. My dad's kind of peculiar, and there were signs of affection, but they were really weird signs of affection. I was about 16 at the time, and he sent me a respirator.
What?
Really?
A gas mask.
Yeah, they sent you a gas mask?
Yeah, a gigantic gas mask. And I don't know why, but I took to wearing it a lot. I would just kind of hang out in my gas mask. I don't know whether it was kind of like being back in the womb. A tear gas resistant womb.
To me, wearing a gas mask is always like you're hiding in plain sight because you're in your own little world and everything's muffled. Nobody can really tell what's going on inside your gas mask. You could think.
Right.
Yeah, I totally can agree with wearing a gas mask all the time. That's cool.
Indeed. Well, we used to have this game we used to play, like, because my room, it was up on, like, the 3rd floor, and our janitor, that could sort of, like, wander around doing handyman stuff, kind of factotum guy, he was called Titch, and he had a funny voice. He used to talk like that. And what we used to do was, when we saw him walk across the courtyard, we used to knock on the window, and then duck down. And then Titch would be looking around, well, who was that? Anyway, one time, I was stood at the window with my gas mask on. I don't know why. And my roommate banged on the window and went, Titch, you're a wanker. And then ducked down. And then I'm just stood there with my respirator. And then I ducked down. And I didn't think anything about it until about 20 minutes later, the headmaster burst into our room in a fury, a headmasterly fury, with a big red face. And he had the janitor, Titch, with him. And he said, I've just heard the most terrible thing. Malcolm, because that was his real name. Malcolm, explain yourself. What happened? And he turned and he went, some fella in a gas mask just called me a wanker. And it was, our headmaster just exploded with laughter. And we were all, it was fantastic. It was one of those moments where we were all just helpless with laughter. Well, I don't think that's very funny.
Oh,
it was absolutely brilliant.
Mickey Mouse was your groundskeeper. That's awesome.
Yeah, seriously, yeah, that's exactly what he sounded like. Yeah, Mickey Mouse with a slight northern accent. Yeah. Some fella in a gas mask just killed me a wanker.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Good times.
You were there for almost a year, right? Filming the Band of Brothers.
Goodness me, yeah,
about a year. Really?
Well, not quite a year. Probably 9 months, I'm guessing.
I think it might have been 10, actually.
10 months, okay, because they did try to do 2 episodes at once. There was 10 episodes. It took 2 weeks to do an episode.
That's right.
And then you had 3 weeks of boot camp, and then I'm sure there was extra shooting at the end of it for, whatnot.
Yes, that's right.
But, so yeah, you're looking at a solid 10 months worth of shooting. Did you find that you already knew enough about the history to enjoy what you were doing to the point where it was you knew it was going to be this good, or were you learning as you went the trials and tribulations of the guys from Easy Company?
Good question. Well, I don't know. Yeah, the sets were so amazing, and all that they were asking, like some days, there'd just be like 4,000 extras all in like German army gear and everything. It was hard not to enjoy it, It was just like being a little kiddie playing war.
I did want to mention our girl China from the chat room. She's from Alberta, Canada. Feel free to say anybody's name, by the way. They love it when you do that.
Oh, they do? Okay, good.
They're known throughout the internet, and they have a live journal community as well as the Band of Sisters. And these ladies...
Is that right?
Yeah, these ladies show up to all the interviews, and they have great questions, and they titter amongst themselves like somebody kicked the hen house. So they're just screaming at each other in the chat room. But go ahead.
This is from China, one of your biggest fans. She wanted to know what your favorite memory was from Band of Brothers.
My favorite memory is when we shot the bayonet scene, when we're all in the trench and we're all sort of ready to go. Well, Tom Hanks, who directed that episode, he wanted to see it He wanted to see it, like, us run through it before he filmed it. And he wanted to see it about 4 weeks before we filmed it. We had 2 breaks in filming, and it was before one of the breaks. We all went off for like a week. And, I'd never met him or anything, and, he walked past. I was sort of like in my, like, gear and in my character, and he was just sort of like mapping it out and figuring out how he was going to shoot the shot, and he just walked past. And I never really been starstruck, but I just gazed at him open mouth, like, as he walked past. And he just looked at me and kind of went, and then walked off. It's like, real bad. Tom Hanks like, at me and walked off. And, I don't know why, but that's my favorite memory.
Did you ever look at Tom when he was doing all this stuff and just go, you know what, you made a whole movie with a volleyball. What's up with that?
Yeah, actually, I may have said something like that, actually.
No.
Yeah, I did, yeah. There's a shot where I had to walk, it was after a battle, I had to walk up to a canteen of coffee and dip my cup in and sort of look all battered and bruised and tired and then wander off. And I walked up and did it, and of course I didn't do it like an actor does, I didn't like keep my face so you could see who I was. I just dipped my head down so you couldn't see who the hell it was. So he said to me, Talbert, next time we do it, can you make sure I can see your face? Can you try and act like an actor? Come on, Band of Brothers, episode 5, stay with it. And I looked at him and I went, good work on Turner and Hooch, by the way.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Can I just say at this point that it's quite tricky, this, isn't it, doing radio stuff?
It can be, yeah.
Because I have to say that my respect for you guys was at rock bottom before this interview. I mean, just rock bottom.
Well, I wouldn't expect it to be any higher.
Yeah, but it's really high now. Yeah, it's a really tricky job.
Well, we only want the best for our listeners, and you are providing exactly that. Elaine Ewing, one of the friends of Black Sky Radio and a e-buddy of ours, she is a writer in L.A. And the group of people that I've met through the Kevin Pollak Chat Show, which is an online talk show, webcast, I guess you could call it, as well as Mike Rotman and a couple other guys who have a bunch of other shows like Stupid for Movies and Stripped Down Live with Kurt Smith. She brought this up and said that it was really a lot harder to do interviews on the radio versus live in person, and all I could do was say, oh, okay, thank you. I don't know how to respond to that because I find it just as easy to talk to somebody on the air as I do in person.
No. Do people tell you sound like Seth Rogen?
No.
Oh my God, you
sound
sound
like Seth Rogen.
exactly like Seth Rogen.
I sound like Seth
Sounds
Rogen.
like Seth Rogen.
Yes.
Doesn't
Holy
he?
shit.
Oh my God, that is like, I've never noticed that. And as soon as you said it, it's like, makes so much sense.
I sound like Seth frickin'
exactly
Rogen.
like him.
Yeah.
Now all I need is a Jew fro and a skinny kid to throw stuff at me all the time.
Yeah.
Never underestimate the power of a Jufro, man.
You know what's really funny though about Nightmare Matthew is he looks like what's his name's
Captain
character?
Caveman?
No, not Captain Caveman, you ass.
Magilla Gorilla?
No, what's his name from freaking Big Lebowski?
Oh yeah, John Goodman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look like John Goodman, by the way.
You look like Walter.
Yeah, I look like Walter. Yeah.
Thank you.
I actually can put on a pair of shooting glasses that I have in a drawer over here, and I look exactly like Walter.
He looks exactly like Walter.
I actually have a
Angles of
1911 45 that I can bring out.
In fact, if you want to pop into the chat room real quick, you can see him on cam right now. He looks exactly like Walter.
And I
How do I
sound
do that?
apparently like
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
That's
Is
awesome.
that not cool? That's
No,
really cool.
No, that's totally awesome. I'm loving this. I'm writing this down in my diary tonight.
This will probably be the end of my personality. People
shut up.
are going to start calling me Seth Rogen wannabe. I will never have my own identity again. Thank
Oh
you.
my God, you big baby.
I'm
Shush.
just saying.